Feels great. I mean, we're back doing what we love to do, and with a new group of guys, and we got a good group this year. And so it's going to be fun to compete with this team and kind of get after it like we did last year. And so I think I can speak for all of us. We're just excited and anxious to get out on the field to go play.
Roc, I mean, we saw the video of you and the interviews and stuff. But you guys have been together a while. The core of this team. Does it feel like a pretty tight-knit group?
Yeah, I feel once you start playing, once we start competing, we get closer and we click more. But leading up to that, it's always hard to have that click because you're inter-squadding against each other. Practices are a little bit split up. But our locker room talk and the energy in there is fun. We've got a bunch of good guys in this team, a bunch of new guys that bring a lot of good energy. And so I think the click is there, and I think we're just going to be better from there.
What's been the biggest difference for you now coming on, going into your second season here at OSU baseball?
Nothing's changed much. I mean, besides seeing new faces, we're being a little bit older, but the grind's still the same. I mean, we get after it the same, and it's still baseball every day. So not much has changed, but the people that I'm with.
Brian, I know you missed your first year or full season here. Kind of emerged as one of the primary ones towards the latter part of the season. What are you hoping to take from that regional and Big 12 tournament heading into this year?
I think we just got to capitalize on the time we spend together and all the work we've put in throughout the off season and what we did away from the field, and just come together and really get behind each other and show what we have.
I know there's a lot of new names, new faces in the pitcher room this year. How's everybody kind of meshing and with such a new look room, I guess?
I think a lot of the older guys that we got through the transfer portal definitely kind of assumed the role of being a veteran who's been here, just kind of helping me out, helping the few older guys that we have. But I think we got a good core that can show the young ones the way.
Nolan, you pitch, I guess. How's the pitching room looking?
We got a bunch of really good pitchers.
Going for 100 miles an hour.
Like Bogey said, the guys we picked up from the transfer portal and even our freshmen, they're really, really good. I think we got a really special group in the batter's box and on the mound this year.
What makes?
Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
Could you guys tell me a little bit about Jerron? What kind of person he is like? What's his demeanor? What kind of teammate he's like?
It took him a little bit to warm up to us. Obviously, he was a new guy, but he's a pretty goofy individual once you get to know him a little bit. I've grown to really like Jerron and enjoy being around him quite a bit.
I think he's a really good competitor. He's gonna show some stuff this year that's gonna really help us out.
Can I ask for a first impression? What the first interaction with him was like?
Dang, that slider's good. That's what I said.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Was that you as a pitcher or a batter?
As a hitter.
Okay.
Both.
Yeah.
Me as a pitcher, I thought it was nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's a lot he's like Justin Campbell-esque. I mean, I think just the way he competes, the way that he kind of suffocates hitters in the box. I mean, he's gonna attack you from the get-go, and he really just sets the tone on the mound. So it's really easy to play behind a guy like Jerron.
Is he animated like Campbell, like fire?
No, I would say he's kind of more of a, I don't want to say like a reserved competitor, but it's kind of more of it's just kind of all built up in his head, and he just kind of has a plan of how he wants to attack everybody, and he really just accomplishes his goal and just keeps going, about his business. But tempo is great. I mean, he guy works, gets outs. I mean, he's flashing the whole arsenal. So I mean, he's just a hardcore competitor, man. He's a great kid, great baseball player.
Nolan, you had an interesting offseason with the draft and then coming back and stuff. Walk us through that process and kind of what happened there.
Yeah, so I got drafted by the Orioles, and we just couldn't come to an agreement. So I called up Josh, and obviously he said, yeah, we'd love to have you back. So I still had a place here, and I was more than happy to come back and get to have one more year at this place.
What, emotionally for you, what is that like going through that? Because if it doesn't work out, I mean, it's your dream to play pro baseball. And so, not that you're not gonna get that chance again, but how do you handle that emotionally?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty devout Christian, so I mean, I think God's got a plan for everything. And if his plan wasn't for me to play for the Orioles, then it wasn't his plan. I think I'm right where I need to be. All I can do is worry about being present and control what I can control.
How can this season help you then?
I just enjoy every bit of it. Last year went by way too fast with the guys we had, so I want to just really embrace all of our people and enjoy every little moment.
Do you see yourself as the closer or a starter? What do you see pitching wise this year?
Whatever the team needs. My arms build up enough shape to be a starter, closer, both, whatever I might need to do, I'm going to be able to do it.
I guess this may be an upfront question or rather answerable, but how does it feel to finally have a full off season with pitching reps? I know you didn't start the year last year as a primary pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty new to me. I didn't pitch a whole lot in high school. Obviously, I've always had a pretty strong arm, but just being able to develop my pitching side of things as well as my hitting side of things has been a lot of fun to see what I'm capable of on the mound.
Are you hitting 100, or was that just Roc being Roc?
No, he's hitting.
No, he's hitting
He's
100.
hitting 100.
He's in 100.
Come
No,
on.
when I talked to you in the offseason, like, or fall ball, you said you were mid-90s trying to get to 100. I mean, what got you there?
Just every day. You just got to try to get a little bit better each day, a little bit stronger, try to move a little bit better. Just trying to find something I suck at and get better at that, and then all of that accumulates into just becoming good at it eventually. So I'm still striving to be consistently better and better in every facet of the game.
What's something you sucked at you want to get better at?
Last year didn't throw as many strikes as I wanted to, especially in off speed, so we threw a lot of heaters. So this year I want to be able to throw all my pitches for strikes and just control every ounce of the game.
Anything hitting wise too?
Yeah, I just want to put the ball in play more, because when I do that, things are pretty special. So I just want to do that as much as I can, and I think that'll help the team the most.
Was that frustrating last year, the amount of strikeouts for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I got into quite a funk and just lost my head for a while. Pretty easy to do in baseball. It's a tough game, but I'm proud of the way I bounced back in a regional. And I mean, Roc started off slow, and he did the same thing. I'm sure you can speak on that. Baseball's a hard game, especially from a hitter standpoint and even a pitcher standpoint. If you lose any bit of confidence, it can show in all facets of the game.
Did you change much for your approach hitting wise this season?
Yeah.
Did it help do that, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've been experimenting with a lot of stuff, just trying to get back to where I was before last year, and especially mentally. When I'm confident in the batter's box, I'm really hard to get out. So trying to get back to it.
Just for any of you guys, who's somebody on the team that maybe the public, the fans don't know about yet that you think they'll get to know pretty soon when the season starts?
Tyler Wolford.
Brian Hendry.
What about
Yeah.
what about those two guys?
I don't think Tyler Wolford's gotten out yet. Every time he swings the bat, he hits the ball hard.
Schubert.
Yeah, Nolan Schubert, he's a freshman. He's hard to miss. He's like 6'8", 230. So you'll see
Carson
him.
Bench.
Carson
Moving
Bench.
on the list.
Yeah, I mean, you could go around the locker room.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys. Carson Bench is another two-way guy. He'll hit a lot for us, pitch a lot for us. Probably be up in the mid-90s as well.
Aiden
So
Miola.
yeah, Aiden Miola. I mean, we got guys this year, so it'll be fun to see who really shows.
Benj was hurt last year, correct?
Mhm.
How have you guys seen him kind of deal with that and get to come back?
Ben's got interesting ways of dealing with everything. He's an odd little cat, but he's really good at baseball.
Super talented.
Yeah, super gifted in everything he does. One of those guys that he'll never do something, and his first time doing it, he's better than most people at it. So.
Do you have any examples of his odd ways of?
I mean, like he could roll out of bed and put balls halfway up the batter's
We
eye.
have a brick wall on our practice field, and Benji one day was like, I think I can jump over that brick wall. Like, dude, what? Like a rep out of stretch, and like he puts 1 foot on, like grabs it, with
Climbs
his
it,
hand.
American
it's
Ninja
like what,
Warrior
like 14
style.
foot wall.
Yeah.
It's a huge wall. Like,
Just
he's like,
mantles a wall like right before stretch.
Yeah.
Josh always sees it too, and he's just like,
he has
but
no
you
idea
can't
how
slow him
special
down.
he is. Like he has no clue how
Yeah,
gifted
it's-
and talented he is.
yeah, he's special.
Marcus Roc, how's the middle infield or just the infield as a whole meshing together?
Oh man, I'm really happy with our infield work, man. I mean, all the guys that showed up to campus, regardless of where we started, I mean, how we've meshed together and the work that we put in together. I mean, the product the last couple weeks has been just outstanding. I mean, guys are moving their feet well, guys are getting in good positions, guys are making great throws. I mean, we go out here in the inter squads and we're making some good plays, and Yeah, I'm really, really happy, man. I mean, it's pretty special when you're surrounded by, Jordy, who's played, 10 plus years in the bigs, and Robin, I mean, that guy, I mean, all that stuff he's done speaks for itself. But I mean, coming here and working with us, man, it's been awesome. And I mean, like I said, I mean, we're just gonna keep working and keep getting better at, everything, footwork, throwing, just staying in the rhythm of the game.
Yeah, agree. Younger guys are really hungry to learn, which is good. All our infielders, the guys that came in, just want to get better, and I think that speaks for itself.
You guys mentioned Jordy. What has he brought?
Jordy's the man. I mean, he obviously he's really relatable. Sometimes he
Jordy's
comes in.
He's like the big brother.
Yeah, he is like a big brother. Robin's like more of like a dad kind of, but like Jordy definitely he gives off like more of like a big brother vibe. I mean, he comes to the field.
I'd say Robin's more like the cool uncle.
Yeah, he's like
I
cool
wouldn't go
uncle.
The uncle
dad.
that shows up at every holiday.
Yeah.
You don't know why.
Yeah, but your poppy's there.
Yeah, he's definitely like that.
Robin's
But
cool uncle.
no, I mean Jordy's really cool, man. I mean, he's fresh out of the bigs, so I mean he still brings a lot of what he learned to the table, and stuff that relates to what Roc and I want to do, and what the team and the infield, what we want to get better at. And I mean, it's really helped. I mean, I think you've seen a lot of the younger guys. I mean, they've came a long ways from the fall, and I think a lot of those guys are going to be able to help us in the spring as well.
What's his coaching style like?
I mean, I wouldn't say like laid back, because it's definitely not like that, but it's more of kind of like it's like a friendly kind of like
High
energy, throwing tips at you. It's nothing like
He tailors it to each guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't nail us all the same way. He speaks to our personality. The guys who are a little bit more passive, he's a little bit more passive with them. The guys who are aggressive, he's a little more aggressive with them. So he speaks to our personality.
It's definitely not like cookie cutter. I mean, some things work for some guys, some things don't, and I think he really has a really good feel for that. But yeah, no, I mean, we're very, very happy to have Jordy on staff. I mean, this is a pretty incredible staff when you kind of break it down.
Like you said, he came straight from the bigs. So do you notice him kind of still learning how to kind of coach you guys a little bit, kind of on the day-to-day?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think he's also hungry to become a better coach, and he's out there, coaching first base, and I mean, he just enjoys being here, man. I mean, he loves pouring back into the program. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, I don't know what he wants to do long term as a coach, but I mean, he's definitely done a great job in the start, and he's kind of caught on, and he's meshed really, really well with the staff, and we're very, very excited and happy to have him for the season.
Can you guys almost get desensitized to the amount of big leaguers that keep coming back? You had Matt, you had Robin. Whenever Jordy showed up, was it just like, oh, that makes sense, or was it still like, holy crap, that's Jordy Mercer?
I would just say we're fortunate enough and lucky enough to be at a place and be surrounded by other coaches that allow us to meet guys like them and have coaches like them. And we have guys like Cody Bellinger and Joey Gallo come in the offseason, and Nolan Arenado. And so being blessed enough to have those guys here and just learn from those guys and see how they handle themselves and how mature they are and how they operate, I think all of us can just say the same, that we're blessed to have those guys here.
Yeah, I think, I mean, to kind of piggyback off that, I mean, I don't think we're really going to know how special it really is until we're gone. We're somewhere else, and we realize, the space that we're in every day and how unbelievable this place is. But at the same time, who was coaching us? I mean, I think if you look back 10 years from now, you're going to be like, wow, that was pretty cool. So, I think it'll hit us when we're finally gone, but we're just enjoying the moment right now.
How much
What's
do you?
the biggest benefit? Is it mental? Is it physical? When those guys are around, I mean, what do you gain from them tangibly?
Oh man, I mean, I think you could hit on tons of things. I mean, obviously you had Matt last year as well. I mean, I think a lot of it has to come with like mentality. I mean, those guys, they're having to go through seasons, 162 plus postseason. I mean, those guys are having to get their mind right for the entire season. And I mean, when you listen to guys like that and how they attack their work every day and kind of how they go about their business and how they can maintain it for 162 games or even through spring training, postseason, keep care of their bodies. I mean, all of that stuff, they bring that back here and they pour it into us. So sometimes it's not even really about the game, it's how you're gonna attack the game. And so I think that's really been the biggest thing about having these big leaguers on staff.
How much do you guys get to be around those other guys like Arenado and Bellinger and Gallo, like you mentioned, when they're here?
Not much.
Not much.
They come and go for about 3
Yeah.
or 4 days just to come in here and get their work in and then leave. But we don't really bother them all that much. We kind of just watch them do their thing and like watch them prepare and how they go about their business, and that's enough for us.
It's how beneficial is to watch them, just to be around them and watch them.
It's cool. I mean, it's cool because we want to be at their level, and so we sit there and like we'll compare their swing to our swing. We'll talk about what we like, what we don't like. I mean, Nolan and I, we gotta sit and watch Cody Bellinger, and we were saying things that we thought he did good, things he did bad, and then we talked about, oh, like, hey, he's a lot cooler than we thought he would be based off watching him play. And so it's pretty cool.
Roc, I want to ask you a little about Nolan Schubert. I know you kind of emerged as a star, top guy for baseball team last year as a freshman. Do you think Nolan could be one of those guys this year for you guys?
Yeah, I think Nolan can come in here and make a bigger impact than I did last year for sure. With the bat, it's special. I was playing second base in like our third inner squad, and he hit me a pop up to second base, like, dang, that's high. Whatever. I caught it, looked up at the scoreboard, and he hit it like 102, like straight in the air. And I was like, jeez. And then we watching him take the batting practice. He's hitting balls. He's left-handed hitter. He's hitting balls backside off the scoreboard out of the stadium. And then we're all like, oh, he's just a BP, and he hit BP. He comes in the fall and it's 9 home runs, and we're like, dang, like, this kid's gonna be special. Hit a home run yesterday. So he's a really good kid as well on top of that. I mean, he's got his priorities straight. He's great in the classroom. He's a good teammate. So all the things together, I mean, it's going to be hard for him to fail this year.
I know the jump from high school to college can be a pretty big jump, but what does it take from someone who did it last year to piece together a successful freshman campaign?
Yeah, it takes guys like us four, honestly. Being able to be a freshman and lean on the guys who did it the year before you and the older guys who've been through it. For me last year, that was the biggest thing, was to lean on the older guys, pick their brains, and know who has my back, which they all did. And so Schubert, to be able to be with McLean every day and be in the outfield with him, work with him every single day, is going to help him out a lot.
It seems like Schubert, if he's hitting those pop-ups like you're describing, that's a pretty guy who's like physically ready for this level straight out of high school. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he hit a ball yesterday that
Yeah.
has not come down yet.
Yeah.
It hit the, what do they call it, Cowboy Corral there? Is that what they call
I think
it?
it went over, bro.
Yeah, it went over the Cowboy Corral.
he hit the ball, and you guys, you don't even move on the field. I was playing,
Yeah,
he
he
hit the
just
ball, and
watched it.
I started walking to get my high five. Like, nice one, dude. That's it.
And then the other freshman I want to ask, or the other newcomer, I should say. Marcus,
Yeah.
you brought him up, Tyler Wolford.
Oh jeez, man. Wolf's a freak. He's really gifted. I mean, I think, a lot of people, coming in from junior college or transfer, like, people really don't understand like how good his numbers were last year. People don't really understand how good his fall was, because some people don't come out to fall games but I mean, he's so comfortable in the box, man. I mean, that guy's pitch recognition's off the charts. I mean, he rarely chases. I mean, he's always putting the bat on the ball. Doesn't strike out very much. Moves runners. He's an outstanding teammate. I mean, he's just a great competitor, man. Doesn't really say much, just goes about his business. And I mean, that's a guy that you want in your lineup every single day.
Linked on Brandon Phillips too.
And, oh man, Brendan Phillips too. I mean, we got guys all across the board. I mean, Brendan's got a pretty live fastball, works quick. He's just a pitcher, man. Like, he hits his spots. He's, back in the zone. He's forcing hitters to get in the box, be ready to hit. It's uncomfortable at bat for a lot of guys. So I mean, that's a guy that's going to be able to help us right away. But I mean, like I said, we got a lot of guys like that, man. And that's why I think, this place is special, man. We bring in guys, and yeah, we lost a lot of guys last year, but hey, man, you just keep churning and just bring in more guys, and let's do it again. I think we got a chance to have a really special season.
I know for baseball athletes, you guys kind of have to take it one game at a time and one series at a time. But looking ahead, and is there any games on the schedule that you guys have got circled on your calendars, or something you're looking forward to? Or is it all the
Missouri.
same? Missouri.
First game, yeah. We focus on preparing for that first game, and then once that first game's over, we focus on preparing for Vanderbilt and then Arkansas, and then we take it more pitch by pitch, day by day, second by second, priority by priority, and our priority is that first game against Missouri, and so that's what we're looking forward to, ready to attack.
What do you feel like? Have you looked too far? Let me ask. Have you looked at Missouri specifically as on tape or anything to get an idea of what you guys might need to do to succeed in that one?
Not yet. We still have things as a team that we need to get better at for sure. Things we need to work on, and so that's what we're doing. We're focusing on ourselves right now. It's a long season. You have a long time to adjust to your game and realize what kind of team you are. So right now we're working on the things that we need to work on as a team, and then come a few days before Missouri, we'll look at their pitching staff and their hitters, and then we'll start dialing in what we need to do to win.
What do you guys like about facing tough competition right out the gate? Missouri, Vanderbilt, Arkansas. What advantages, disadvantages might that have?
I mean, I think that's kind of top tier baseball. You kind of dream of playing in a big stadium and a big showdown. So I think we're just ready for it. We just want to get on the field and compete with our brothers.
Roc, you were talking about first year guys earlier. When did you kind of be comfortable in your own skin last year as a first year guy?
Oh man. After the season? I mean, I didn't know what to expect coming into college baseball. I don't think any of us really knew what to expect, how long the days were, how good the competition is, and I also didn't exactly realize when I came to school here that this was one of the absolute best programs in the country. And so I got thrown into the fire right away. I'm like, first game we played Vandy, and I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. I didn't even know I was playing. And so, I mean, I started to get comfortable in my own skin after the season and look back at my season and realize my highs and lows and what kind of player that I need to be successful, what kind of player I was when I was successful, what kind of player I was when I was not playing good. And so looking at all those things and realizing that things that helped the team, things that didn't help the team, and things that made me better, that's kind of when I figured out who I am as a player.
What did you figure out? Who are you as a player?
I figured out that I'm for the boys. I mean, that's kind of cliche, but everything that I try to do is to fire these guys up, make another guy smile, and ultimately help us win ball games. And so for me, I like to bring energy, I like to play hard, I like to have fun, and all the things that we were told growing up are the things I like to do.
Have you always been this big personality?
Yeah. I've always been out there. I think part of that because I was always so short. I was like, dang, I'm like the shortest guy on the team. Like, how am I gonna get recognized? Oh, well, I gotta do a dance around third base. And so it was always.
What do you guys think of his personality? I mean, you're wearing his hoodie.
Oh man, yeah. I'm Roc Riggio's biggest fan. That's what I gotta say. I mean, playing with Roc up the middle, man, we've kind of formed a relationship that's, to me, is pretty special. I mean, Roc's kind of allowed me to kind of come out of my shell a little bit as a baseball player. Man, Roc's a fierce competitor. I mean, he's someone that boosts the whole team. I mean, I think we were kind of feeding off of him in the regional. I thought we fed off him, earlier in the year too. I mean, I don't think he kind of knew it, but I mean, as a young guy to kind of be in there and playing every day, like, we know how hard it is, but I mean, that's a guy that works hard and does everything right, and we're super happy to have Roc, man. I mean, he's brought a lot of attention to our program in a good way, and I mean, he's going to continue to lead this ball club, and we're really excited to have number 7, man in second base.
Yeah, I
The
think
guys
he's
that have been to the Cape, pardon me for interrupting, what's been the most beneficial part of that experience for you guys, going to the Cape?
Oh man, well, I mean, I think playing together obviously is a big thing. Getting more reps together. I mean, that's obviously a big deal. Like playing with Roc up the middle.
I was 0 for 65, my first 65 at bats. And then I went on like a 17-game hit streak after that. So for me, it was learning how to handle having a 0 batting average for the first 30 games.
Really?
Really. Yeah.
Was against that high quality pitching, was that any kind of adjustment or no?
No, I mean we faced better arms in college at here. I thought we did in the Cape. I think part of it was mentally drained. The conditions kind of sometimes wanting to be there, sometimes not wanting to be there. Asking yourself, why am I playing summer ball right now when I can be surfing at the beach? And then realizing that I want to do this as a career. And then you run through all these thoughts that every baseball player goes through, and then you look back like, oh, it's summer. Like, why am I playing baseball in the summer? Because for me as a freshman, like my summers off. I can do whatever I want. And then you're playing and you're 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, and then you're 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a rollover, and then you break 4 bats in one game, and then you got to figure out how to overcome that. And so, I mean, like all our coaches talk about is learn how to be a professional failure and handling that failure. And so I think for all of us, I mean, that play summer ball is learning the grind and how to overcome that failure.
So get back to the big leaguer mentality, does it set the stage for you to what a major league season might be like?
Yeah, it has to. I mean, because I called Josh and I was like, hey Josh, I'm ready to go home. And I can ask Marcus. We were at the beach one night and I was like, dude, I'm getting on a flight tomorrow. I'm going home. This is like week 2. I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. So I had to call Josh and he had to reel me back in and say, look, like, if you want to play 165 games, you have to learn how to go on stretches to where you're not yourself. You have to learn how to overcome these failures that everyone has to overcome if you want to be a big leaguer. And so, like you said, getting into that major league mentality and realizing I put in all this hard work not to just fail but to overcome it.
How do you break 4 bats in one game?
They weren't good bats. They weren't good bats.
4 good swings.
No, I think he did get a hit that game though. He broke one of them and it nestled, so it was good.
Marcus, from that stretch Rob talked about, I mean, was it weird to see him, in that kind of funk? I mean, what was that like to watch from your perspective?
I'm just saying, a lot of people go out to the Cape and a lot of people get in funks. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. It's a tough league. Sometimes, maybe it's dark outside, you don't see the ball very well. Sometimes
Strike zones are big.
Strike zones are big.
White
so-
houses in center field.
White houses,
Yeah.
so all that stuff. There's a whole bunch of external factors. We're not making excuses or anything, but I'm just saying it's a tough league to hit in. I mean, you're gonna break bats. You're gonna
Don't
struggle.
want to knock the Cape, but the Cape sucks.
It's just it's a long season out there, but the one thing I got to give Roc a lot of credit to is, I mean, he did stick with it. He didn't bring his bats out in the field. Still played really solid second base. We turned a lot of double plays. I mean, that's a guy that he is a leader. I mean, I think a lot of guys in Chatham fed off of him. And we really kind of, I thought, set the tone. Even when things weren't going right, I mean, we still went out there and we were still solid mentally. I mean, I think obviously Roc said that he had like a 14, 15 game hitting streak. I mean, it was pretty cool to see. Hey, maybe you didn't have a hot start, but he came on late, and it speaks volumes to him and some other guys on our team that battled some challenges. But I mean, I think that obviously Roc last year, I mean, he kind of did the same thing out in the Cape. Maybe you didn't start hot, but hey, you finished strong.
Ryan, for you, what has been one of the biggest points of emphasis in improving your personal game this season?
I think just sticking with the process. I've had some ups and downs and some injuries, but just trying to find a solid routine that allows me to succeed.
How much does Rob help in that? It feels like that's the story for a lot of guys come in, maybe get injured early, and then Rob kind of helps them through the mental aspect of it. How much
Yeah,
does he do?
definitely my mental aspect. Coming out of high school, I thought, I didn't really know what to expect, like all these guys have said. But, something happens that you haven't had happen before, and just trying to get back into something and then fail. You kind of don't know what to expect. You kind of don't know if it's for you anymore. But he's been through a lot, so Rob has definitely made me a better person throughout the mental side and the game.
So you guys lose Jake Thompson and Griffin Dorsey, 2 very good power hitters, and 2 guys that had a good fraction of your home runs last season. How do you guys plan to match that total, or do you guys plan to go more of a contact route in terms of getting on base or getting points on the board regarding that matter?
I think chasing the contact will lead to more home runs, just because of the strength we put in the weight room and the effort we put into the weight room. I was listening to a podcast the other day where it said you chase contact at the plate and the homers come from the work you put outside of baseball. So in the weight room, you're sprinting, your diet, everything you're doing outside of baseball is how you hit the ball further. It's not swinging harder, you still got to hit it on a barrel. So like we've mentioned, we've got some extremely talented hitters. I mean, I think everybody on our team can put it well out of the stadium, so I don't think home runs are going to be an issue for us. But we're gonna compete like crazy, and just let everything else work itself out.
Ryan, what have you seen from Nolan's pitching development this offseason?
I think it's pretty neat to see how he's really honed in on his craft and just kind of really focused on what the team needs. He is throwing pitches that he necessarily didn't throw in the last spring, and he's just kind of going out there, Carterman, and then he'll walk off the mound and go hit a home run. It's just kind of unreal to see, but you just kind of sit back and you're like, yeah, I wouldn't want to face him.
And vice versa, Nolan, on what have you seen from Ryan's progression?
Yeah, I mean, Bogey's a grinder. Like he's mentioned, he's had some injuries he's had to overcome, and he always does. I mean, he battles like we saw last year. He comes out in the Big 12 and throws 8 1/3 against Texas, who's a really, really good hitting team. Right when we needed him the most, he showed up for us, and I think that's something we've come to expect out of Ryan. And I mean, we couldn't be more happy to have him on our team.
I mean, I think the biggest thing for Ryan, I mean, he's a team first guy. He always pours into the team. So like, I mean, I don't know if you believe in karma or not, but I mean, it's like when you go out there and you see him, go out in the Big 12 tournament and do what he did. I mean, it was really no shock to us. I mean, he poured into us so much that year that, I mean, it was his time to shine, man. And he took that moment and just dominated. It was awesome.
Ryan and Nolan, talk a little bit about Jansen Kiesel. What kind of a pitcher is he? What kind of a teammate is he?
He's a good kid. Explosive stuff. Definitely learning from Rob, learning from some of the older guys who have been here, just to kind of figure out the ropes. But definitely gonna help us out in the bullpen.
Heard someone say, I remember in the fall he was playing catch and he was throwing 96. I mean, like it was nothing.
Yeah. Pretty explosive fastball.
What have you seen from Jansen?
Yeah, he's got a really live arm, and it gets on you pretty quick. He's still trying to, like everybody else, work on his craft, develop some more pitches that are just as nasty as his fastball, which will be really, really big for Jansen. But he's a really fun guy to be around. Super positive person. No matter what happens on the mound with him, you'll never know what happened just because of the person he is off the field. He's always got a good attitude.
Nolan, not that you're going around teaching and giving advice all the time, but being a two-way player, do you have a different perspective you can offer people? Because you see a pitcher that you're teammates with, or you see a hitter when you're pitching to him. Do you have a different perspective you can offer people?
I hit on that. I mean, Nolan being an electric pitcher, I've asked him questions like, hey, like, what would you throw to me? What would you throw in this count? And so, just being a teammate of that, he definitely does help a lot. And he's a genius when it comes to hitting. Like he's smart. He's smart. We sit there. We'll be hitting the cage on the iPad, and we'll be videotaping, and we'll be nitpicking our swings, our movements in our lower half, and he knows what he's talking about. He's smart.
Do you see things from the mound when you're pitching to like Rock or Marcus that, hey, these guys might be missing here that you can go tell them? I mean, is that, are you able to pick up on that stuff?
Yeah, if Marcus is wondering why, I don't know why I missed that. I'm like, hey, I saw your front hit maybe a little bit early on it. And he's like, okay. And his next at bat, he can stay on it a hair longer, or same thing with Rock. I mean, everybody at the plate, you're always going to have one spot that you got to give in to something at the plate. And as a pitcher, that's what we're trying to attack. And now pitchers make a lot of mistakes, and as hitters, that's what we're trying to hit. So I think as good as we can get at hitting mistakes, I mean, pitchers are still going to be really good pitchers, and that's what makes baseball so tough.
Nolan, how do you directly benefit as a hitter from pitching and as a pitcher from hitting? What are the direct benefits?
I think just knowing what a hitter might be looking for in certain counts. Hey, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
And vice versa, knowing how I might get pitched. Now, not everybody's throws and pitches off the fastball as much as I might towards me, but I think just knowing what to look for. We have a really cool angle from center field that we can look at our swing, and if I was a pitching coach or a pitcher and I saw something in my swing, I would know where to attack myself. So trying to eliminate that so I can have as little flaws as possible at the plate, and vice versa on the mound.